Big sells coming in on Ethereum while the alt markets continue to bleed out. Should you buy the dip or should you hop into the short like you're kind of itching to? Meanwhile, the situation between Bitfinex and the New York Attorney General's office is getting hot, bringing our industry to a boil. Let's break it all down on today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live for you Wednesday, July 10th, 2019, your daily source for cryptocurrency market updates, sentiment, and news. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys are doing well, whether you happen to be tuning in across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook, or on Roku at the Investor News channel. If you guys want to support the stream, make sure to like, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. All right, we've got a fantastic show for you guys. But before we begin, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. If you are a new trader, an aspiring trader, or an experienced trader looking to sharpen your skills, you can go to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com and see what we have to offer. We offer a strong, supportive community to help you grow in your skills, educational content that focuses on technical strategy, money management, capital preservation and growth, and statistical analysis. Whatever your thoughts are, our community is here to help you out in all aspects, including lifestyle coaching and emotional discipline. Again, head over to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to get started today. All right, we've got an awesome show for you guys today. Big movements in the market, so we're not going to waste a whole lot of time. We're going to get right to the charts and break this all down. We're going to go over positions. We're going to go over psychology. We're going to go over all of that. I want to give a big shout out to our current Discord Nitro boosters. If you guys want to support us and you got Discord Nitro, head over to the Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com and help us make the server better for everybody. Okay. Yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner was GBU Wally. Congratulations to you, sir. So we will start off today's show, as we always do, by giving away some crypto. And let's get right over here into the live scene, give away some crypto, and figure out what we're doing. All right, so let me go grab the URL from yesterday's video. Spectre Security Coin, good morning to you, man. Good to see you. All right, yesterday's video was: the IRS is coming for your Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin help the UK benefit from Brexit? If you guys did not see yesterday's video, I highly recommend you go watch that. It was a really good video. If you are a cryptocurrency trader and you're in the United States, you need to watch that and understand how the IRS is going to attempt to tax you. Loading comments from yesterday's video. We've got 13 possible winners. Best of luck to all of you guys. Randomly pick a winner right here. And Philip Carr from Manchester Mint. Hey, by the way, thank you so much. Philip Carr was actually the individual who was the DJ behind that mix that we played the other day live on the air. He made a very generous donation to the Water Project on behalf of Cracking Cryptocurrency, $150, benefiting the Water Project. Make sure that you guys understand the importance of giving back what you return. If you do not want a government to dictate charity for you, if you do not want taxation to dictate charity for you, and you give, but yet at the same time you give lip service to giving charity, make sure that you make it a regular part of your daily life to do something financially that benefits somebody beside yourself. We always give regular charity. We think that it's very important. So thank you so much, Philip, for that, my good friend. And he says, UK doesn't need Bitcoin. It needs Manchester Mint coin, Justin. Get with the program. Big shout out to you, man, over there trying to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and physical currency over there in the UK, man. Shout out to you, and thank you so much for your continued support. All right. You know the drill. Get a hold of me in the Discord, and I will tip you some crypto. All right, so let's get over into the live scene. We got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot going on. How are you guys doing in the chat? Heath L, John Libby, Ankit Dan Raj, Andrew Munns. What's up, my good guys? Scott, how are you doing this morning over there, running it behind the scenes? Flatline, Unimimi, 2XG. Yeah, we got a lot going on. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. We're going to start off on the daily time frame. Obviously, bears stepping in with a lot of force, pushing price down. But on the daily, it's honestly not that impressive. A lot of volume, so there's a lot of potential movements that could be coming in here. But I'm just going to break down how I feel about this, what I think, and what I've done as a result, okay? All right, so on the daily time frame, on the daily time frame. We had a second, we talked about this yesterday. How the long signal coming off of the 8th of July was valid because we had all of our pieces coming into play, right? We had Wadatar finally confirming the long position. We've had Minx above the zero line for a while. If we look back to where we originally got our first long signal, we can actually see that this candle opened up at 11,970 and closed at 11,146, giving you a $900 discount on that entry. Now, this wasn't a position that I took. Why? Because WADA kept me out. And on the very next candle, it would have been a drawdown loss, right? A very small loss, but again, just a position that I would have avoided. Now, with Minx being above the zero line, when we cross back above, that's a valid entry. But again, Wadatar keeping me out of the trade. So overall, period of consolidation. A lot of people got excited. Even I got excited for a breakout trade last night. Let me walk you through why. Because we have this area of resistance. We have this order block area that I've talked about before. And then we ended up closing a candle above it, and then we held that ground. Okay? Now, as we've tried to push above, and not really running into any daily structures right here, not really running into any honestly important structures, except for one could make the argument of this, which was the initial buyback after this movement to the downside, right? So after we reached our previous high back on the 26th of June, we had that big sell-off down to the 4-hour baseline. Price tried to push back up, and this was as high as buyers could push price, and this was the last gasp. So one could make the argument that there was a liquidity zone there, that's where a lot of stops were placed, of course. And then again, if we go down to the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin, we have this long wick, right? We have this long wick, but the volume isn't really right there. So I know a lot of people are going to try to correlate that to this being, that was like the stop loss hunt, if you would. The volume does not really back that up. The volume really isn't there to put a lot of credence behind that. I got to remember to push that live split button because I'm trying to do the timestamps. And if I don't push that button, it's not going to work. Right, Scott? Okay. I even put it over here right next to my show notes so that I would follow along with it. One of these days. Anyways, guys. One of these guys. Unimimi, good to see you, man. Burning Legion, Vincent Yag. EOS Oozed, good idea to buy and hold. Just too much going on in life, no time to trade. So I got a 1x short position held up on EOS Oozed. Of course, that means I'm holding the underlying, but because I'm 1x short, that means I can just flip whenever I like. That's what I like about ByBit. Of course, you can also do that on Kraken if you want. But if you're looking at a coin to be in your portfolio, if you're looking for a long-term hold, I think EOS is a good idea. But just as it comes with all investments, make sure that you have a long time horizon. Ich bin Batman. Good to see you, man. The dump was easily called by fib circles. Well, fib circles are not that easy to use in my experience, but I'm glad that you're benefiting from your analysis, man. Morse code, good to see you, man. How is the economy going to react to Hillary going to prison, man? Well, hopefully very good. All right, Rocket Boy, Moonfly, good to see you, man. I have a bad feeling that the U.S. government is not aware how powerful those in charge of this new system are. Are you talking about like cryptocurrency? Are you talking about like mass stat or not mass? I said mass stash because I was looking at Scott's username. But are you talking about LibraCoin? By the way, if you guys have not seen it, make sure you go watch Andreas Antonopoulos' recent speech on Libra. I finally got the opportunity to listen to it last night. Very illuminating, as are a lot of the content that Andreas Antonopoulos puts out. He's one of the best people in the space to listen to. Also one of the best to learn programming from, if that is something that you're so inclined to do. I also recommend you guys go check out JW Weatherman over there on Twitter and here on the YouTube. If you want somebody who really understands long-term investing, who really understands cryptocurrency, who really understands the economy and economics, go listen to JW Weatherman. Maybe we haven't seen the blow off top yet. Again, I think that there is a good case for that. But just breaking back down here to the 15, a lot of people, again, a lot of people, I saw this even in the members lounge, a big, this long wick to the upside grabbing liquidity. The volume is not really there to justify the claim that this was a stop loss on a traditional stop loss on, right? Like obviously on that candle, price wicked up and hit some stops. But when people use that term, what they are really meaning, what they're really trying to look for, that pattern or that scenario or that trading strategy that they're trying to benefit is, when you have, all the FOMO buyers rushing in, and on that wick, they trick all the market orders of the whales that are trying to dump all their positions who bought down earlier. I don't really think that's the case. We'll go over a potentially fundamental reason why this dump happened. But again, But again, I digress. The reason that it happened is because more sellers than buyers stepped in at a moment in the market. Every moment in the market is unique. So anyways, on the daily time frame, we're not really wicking above any significant structures and holding this level so far. So I'm really interested to see what the buyback's going to look like. And I'm actually going to be comfortable holding on to, again, I flipped. I did flip. So I'm in, I moved 25% of my capital into BTC. Moved 25% of my capital into BTC and opened up a long position on ByBit. Now, my entry on that was quite good. My entry on that position was quite good. So I'm not too worried about this. And as long as we're holding above the daily baseline and I don't get a strong exit signal, I'm going to be comfortable holding this position. I could see price pulling back down here to the daily baseline right now, 11,583, and then we'll just take it as it goes. Like every moment in the market is unique. Every trade is individual. But I'm still pretty bullish on Bitcoin right now. The volume on the selling movement was good. We just really need to see what the buyback looks like after this initial wears itself out, right? So anybody who is like taking shorter term trades or looking at shorter term time frames, obviously those are going to get you in and out of positions very frequently, and some people did very well on this movement down and some people did not do very well on this movement down. But for a longer term swing trader like myself, we just patiently wait, watch, and we know that all our trades wash out to profit in the end, especially when you're trading PTP. So from the daily perspective, again, this isn't extremely exciting, right? The volume isn't really that impressive. We're still printing a green bar on Wadatar explosion. RVGI obviously hasn't been pushed down to the downside, so that means that the vigor of the momentum on this candle is not insanely different, or we haven't insanely picked up a whole lot of bearish momentum. We'll go down to the lower time frames to analyze this as well. Minx is still above the zero line. Minx is above the zero line. Volume is drying off on this candle, so there was more pushing buying pressure. So that's what I want to see. I want to see what the buyback looks like, and I want to see how price progresses here over a little bit of time. Okay, that's my test MATR. I got to take that off. Sorry about that. Working on a new average true range function and feature. So I polished up. No, not this one. Where's Oh, okay. Quadriga for some reason isn't on here, but let's throw a Quadriga one. Actually, I want to go to my scripts and go to Quadriga ATR. All right, so this is the newer version of Quadriga ATR. I haven't pushed this as a public update yet. We talked about this, the ability to put in a custom ATR value, and then all that kind of comes along with that. Also, I added in a feature because we're going to be supporting Forex trading, and because I've been more active in Forex trading, I wanted to add something that makes my position size calculator for Forex a little easier. So I added the option to automatically calculate the distance to your stop loss, right? And this is going to work like, whether you're long or short, right? It's going to be the absolute value. And then it's also going to work with your custom ATR value. So you can actually see that over here with the distance to the stop loss, right? So for example, and then obviously since we're going to be using a smaller ATR value, I believe it's, what are we using right now? 545, yep. So we'll just plug that in, 545 custom ATR value, click that button, unclick this button, and boom, we've got 817 for a distance to our stop loss now on this position. So I'm actually pretty comfortable with this movement in this position right now. So let's go down to lower time frames and let's look for the trade. Let's look for everything else. Sliding this over. Let's also throw time transformation on here. By the way, Matt, hey, good to see you in the chat, man. We're going to go over that article. So thank you. By the way, thank you, Matt, for sending me that Bitcoinist article, and we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Okay, so we've got time transformation up down here. I haven't looked at time transformation in a while, so it'll be good to revisit it. I know a lot of the guys in the group are still using this, especially for their intraday scalping. And again, I know a lot of guys in the group who are applying PTP to a reversal type strategy, which I've talked about is valid, but there are problems with trading reversals as opposed to following the trend. They're using time transformation because it does give very, very, very good signals. Okay, so having said that, let's make sure that we're going to take off color bars per Hikinashi trend, and good to go on that. All right, so let's go down to the 12. Let's go down to the 12. Now, what's interesting about the 12 would have signaled. Let's look at how things work. So Minx this take profit long, if you're going to use minks as a reversal indicator, take profit long is going to be what is traditionally what reversal indicators use to initiate a sell, right? So I know a lot of the guys in the group have already figured that out and are experimenting with that a little bit. So again, I don't trade reversals typically. I have my own strategy for trading reversals when I do put them on discretionarily. They're generally order block trades. They're generally price action trades. They only account for about 5% of the active trades that I take. And a lot of the, for me, a lot of the more, any subjective trades that I generally put on are going to be hedge trades, right? Hedge trades. So for example, right, taking a position on FUSD and then also taking a position on Bitcoin to the downside. So that was a wash. So I didn't lose any money on that. So that was okay, even with making that pullback down that it did. A lot of people are doing this with options. Options for me, the reason why I don't teach people to do options is they're often complicated. They have their own ebbs and flows. Yeah, is kind of the only way in my mind to put it. So options are fine if you understand them, but that's a complete journey in and of itself. So here on the 12 hours, we can see getting the initial long signal from minks over here, which Wadatar does not confirm. And again, as we talked about over here, we're on UTC time, of course. So on the open of the 8th, so the close of the 7 hour, or the close of the July 7th candle, could have taken the long signal. That would have been a valid long signal to take there. And we talked about that previously. That trade would have already done well. Price is currently pulling back to the 12-hour baseline. Again, this doesn't really concern me. Subjectively, Burning Legion, thank you so much for the $10, my man. He says, conspiracy crypto trader here, appreciate your daily live stream. I gotta go over to the stream. You said something about prison, man. HRC for prison and watch HRC for prison and watch Bitcoin and the dollar soar. Oh, okay, got you. Hillary Clinton for prison and watch Bitcoin and the dollar soar. Well, I hope so, man. I hope it works out well for my investments. Thank you so much, man. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Burning Legion. So Tether is just like USD then. It's like basically the same thing, right, guys? I mean, it's got about as much back in it, right? So 12-hour chart pulling down to the daily baseline. The primary baseline remains above the secondary baseline. We can see how price pulled back down to the secondary baseline. And that was actually the buy the dip feature right here. So until we close below this baseline, this is still in my mind, if you want to use these terms. You guys know that I don't trade like this, but in my opinion, this is a buy the dip opportunity. Big movement to the downside, big momentum to the downside, holding all our major EMAs, holding all our major baselines, and holding the baseline. So that looks quite good to me. Now going down to the 4-hour, which I think is indicative of what's going on. Now I'm going to start, let's talk about this. Now, before I started using the 13 exponential moving average as my baseline, I used the 21. All right, I used the 21, and there are certain markets where I think the 21 works better. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin and when it comes to Ethereum, I think the 13 works best, and this is why, especially as we continue through the modules, I'm going to explain exactly how to construct your baseline and how to test it, just as I've taught how to do the initiator and the confirmer and everything else coming up in the future. So to me. And I've had these on here the last few days. Again, there's a couple things. So using your EMAs is going to be one of the most tried and true tested technical analysis strategies of all time when you're looking for things like support and resistance, and when you're also looking for momentum trades. So they work very well independently of their own. And I think that they form a beautiful aspect of PTP when properly applied, right? Now, you guys know that we only want, you guys know that we don't want to add so many elements to our system that we are now overwhelmed and we're looking for too much data. Everything needs to congeal very well to produce one reliable sort of signal, a continuation signal, an exit signal, and then we also need to know how to manage our risk. The Fed say Libra cannot go forward. Oh, my dear Lord. Backed by trust, man. Charlie Lee said the halving price has been added to Litecoin already. Yes, he did. Barely any point putting that old psychopath in prison. She's practically dead anyways. Oh, man. What's the secondary baseline? It's 55, the 55 exponential moving average. Now, as we'll go through, some of you guys might be a little bit more inclined to use something like the 13 and the 21. So what does the secondary baseline do? Well, that's going to take a lecture in and of itself, but it acts as a level of support and resistance. It also acts as a trending indicator for longer movements, right? It's also an aspect of discretionary position sizing, as I've gone over on the stream. So for example, if you're getting a long signal, but your primary baseline is below your secondary baseline, well, that means that the long-term trend, that means that the long-term trend has not yet flipped bullish. When the long-term trend is bullish and you get a long signal, well, you can generally take on more risk or take on full risk, right? You can take on full risk. And that is an important part. I think that the majority of wins in trading, the majority of actual profit out the end, all comes down to money management skills. Again, you can be right 40% of the time, and if you have a good enough money management strategy, you can still do quite well in the space. So getting back to the chart and getting down to this. Now, looking at the 4-hour, this is something that I thought was quite interesting. We closed the previous 4-hour candle below the baseline. But we held this, let's call it the tertiary baseline for right now, right? Let's just call it the 21 exponential moving average, my old primary baseline, and a baseline that I don't really use too much in terms of Bitcoin, but I have had on there lately because I've just noticed interesting things about it. So I think that for some people, perhaps with a different time frame or who are trading on different time frames, I think that maybe the 21 might work better for them on the 4-hour. This is all going to come out through testing, and I will publish the results of my testing and all my knowledge on this as we go forward. Now, what's interesting to me, and this is just my feeling on this, BTC still maintains a buy the dip environment in my mind, as long as we're holding that tertiary baseline. I've noticed that over the last few weeks, the way that price action has played out. And where would price likely gravitate towards should we break that 21 EMA? Of course, it's going to be the secondary baseline coming in on the 4-hour around 11,779. Okay, that's going to be pretty indicative of whether this is the beginning of a large movement, giving a lot of this back. And of course, we can also see that kind of implemented over on the daily baseline coming at 11,582. So that could serve, that's $200 higher, that could serve as an early warning sign for that primary baseline being struck. But I would assume that if we end up closing down around that $11,700 area, most people are going to be out of their positions due to where their stop loss placement's going to be, or because of the exit signal that they're going to get, okay? So that's going to be my feeling on that. So for right now, I'm going to be comfortable sitting in the exact position that I'm sitting in. There's no reason to not be. I haven't gotten any indication to exit. And I'm actually pretty comfortable with price. I think that this was a big bear whale. I think that this was a very large sell order. We talked about that large sell order, that 6,000 Bitcoin sell order coming onto Binance, BTC USDT ticker symbol yesterday. And how it just got chewed up, man. So bulls and bulls have been chewing up these orders. And although things are hot and heated, I'm actually more bullish now than bearish, right? Everything that's playing out, and especially this movement to the downside, and seeing how little follow through it's had. I mean, this was a big, brief spurt, right? This was a brief, big spurt. So if you're wanting to trade price action, stick around on the 4-hour and see what the buyback looks like. See if we end up closing below that 21. If we close below the 21, you can hedge up, you can go 1x short, you can try to take the trade down to $1,700 or $11,700, $11,500 area. Look, if you want to try and buy the buyback there, that's the area that I would be looking for the buyback. Always at the daily baseline, be looking to get back in that long trade, for example, if that is how you're so inclined to trade. Of course, if we end up breaking below the daily baseline, everything goes out the window. We go 1x short, we hedge up, we're back in cash, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, I only moved 25% of my funds in, so I'm actually happy about this. So if we can get another indication here, then I can start moving more capital back in. As I said yesterday when I published the signal, looking for that continued bullishness. So this again represents a good opportunity to add to that position potentially if you're wanting to apply a little bit more risk. I'm watching pretty closely that 4-hour 21 and 55. Obviously watching, we'll call it our tertiary, watching our tertiary baseline and our secondary baseline, man. Google Seth Rich, man. I read the trail of murders, mishaps, and strange disappearances of folks that were believing in the foundation. Is that like some Bioshock stuff, man? The Bitcoin casino is sinking. Abort, abort. Oh, man. The Federal Reserve meeting killed Bitcoin and alts today. Andrew Adams says he bought at 12,100 on about 50x margin. Stop loss at 1275. Let's go. Best of luck, man. Thank you so much, Paul. I try to think clearly, man. I try to think clearly. Let's go over and look at Ethereum, guys. So that's my opinion. Final analysis on Bitcoin for today. Overall, nothing really influences my trades. Obviously, you guys know that I trade PTP structure, but when we're zooming down to the lower time frames, the tertiary baseline does represent a point of interest for me, for those looking at price action, for those looking at lower time frames, meso time frames, really, and looking for an opportunity. Still represents a buy the dip opportunity for me, watching those levels of 12,441, or excuse me, 12,241 closely and 11,779. 12,279. If we end up closing below 12,241, I would say you could go ahead and put on the hedge short, try to take price down to that $11,790 area, and then look to flip there if that's how you want to trade. If that's how you want to trade. Again, going back to the daily, nothing really changing. Not really impressed by this down candle. Still comfortable in my position. And looking at the 12-hour, it looks like a very attractive opportunity to buy up on a reversal baseline bounce buy. So we'll see. We'll see what the buyback looks like, and we'll see how far the bears can push price down. If the bears push price down a whole lot further, and we can see that the bulls aren't able to defend these levels, then again, at least hedging or putting on a hedge position might not be a bad idea. Okay, so let's get over to Ethereum. Now, Ethereum I feel differently about, and that is going to be a little bit, let's get that MATR off of there. Now, that's going to be a little controversial, definitely controversial, because, well, Justin, Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to move side by side. But again, you got to look at the technicals of the chart. Technicals of the chart should dictate to you how you trade, not your subjective feelings or your ideas of correlation. Now, again, we know that Bitcoin and Ethereum move pretty much side by side, but also a good opportunity to hedge up. All right, so let's go to the daily on Ethereum. Let's get rid of this. And this is XRP BTC for some reason. This needs to be Ethereum. We'll go and look at Ethereum on Coinbase. Okay, so Coinbase having a much more significant push down to the downside, right? Closing below the daily baseline. We're going to be closing below the daily baseline most likely. And on the daily, we have price moving down below the daily baseline. We have not fallen down to our secondary baseline. We are falling out of the order block. As we talked about, this order block was established right here. We wicked above it. When we close below an order block, basically looking for opportunities to sell that order block. Again, that becomes a bearish order block. This is bearish initiation zone. Went a little bit higher than we normally do. We actually did end up wicking on the daily above and rejecting. This was the big down movement that pulled us down to the daily baseline in the first place. Wadatar printing a non-rising red candle above the explosion level. We don't have a rising explosion level. It's going to take a few more days to get a daily signal to go short. Minx is still above the zero line. However, any way you want to cut, slice it, or paste it, this has been a unsuccessful long trade if you took the long signal, or if you took any other position, for example, coming in over here on Coinbase. Now let's go over to the 12-hour. Let's go over to the 12-hour. Let's see here. Looking at the 12-hour. The 12-hour had some profit opportunity for you right here. Let's actually go take a look and see. No, losing 12-hour chart if you try to take this trade to the long side, 12-hour closing below the 12-hour baseline and now the secondary baseline as well. And we do have a confirmed short signal on the close of this candle, assuming that everything is the way that it is now when this 12-hour candle closes. So for that reason, I'm far more bearish on Ethereum. So what that might objectively entail, right, is that I hold my position open on BTC, hedge up with an Ethereum short, and end up washing but preserving my USD value, which again is mostly what I'm interested in. I'll just be happy to not lose a lot of money on this movement to the downside if there's going to be a big correction like that, and I just happen to take on positions to the upside. So looking for opportunities to stem that flow and protect my back end, because I know that all I have to do is stay in the market and I make money. I've been doing this for a long time. All I have to do is survive these moments. That's it. I know that a lot of people, I saw these big moves. I saw Twitter. Twitter was popping off. I was on Twitter earlier this morning. I was talking to some guys in the group, always doing my mentoring in DMs. And, there's guys that made a lot of money because they were reversal short of this. And then there's guys that got pretty hosed on this movement to the downside. Here's the point. All you have to do is survive corrections like this. If your system can allow you to survive corrections like this, and you can just stay in the market, stay at the table, stay at the poker table and not blow out your entire account. For example, if you've got a $5,000 account and you just lost $500 or $1,000, that fucking sucks. I'm totally there with you. It's happened to me before, right? And all you need to do, though, psychologically is stay in the game. You stay in the game and you survive movements like this, and you continue doing a strategy that you know works in the long run, and it comes back and you make more. That's how it works, right? Ebbs and flows, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes, unfortunately, we take 4 steps back, right? And then our risk management puts us out like, oh, okay, well, we just gave back a couple weeks of gains. All right, that sucks. All right, maybe we gave back a month of gains. Maybe you just gave back 6 months of gains. All right, maybe you did. All right, but as long as your risk management strategy can keep you in the game, so that the worst case scenario is if you get stopped out on all your trades, you lose, let's say 5 to 10% of your account. Let's say let's make that your worst case scenario. Okay. You can come back from that. You can come back from that with a diligent month or with a good day here in crypto, man. Well, let's be honest, right? You can come back from it. So just do not be disheartened. Get up, take every time. This is what I do, right? Every time, for me, I mean, taking a loss nowadays is not any struggle. But when I began, when I was first trading the way that I trade, if I would take a big loss, you get up, you go outside, you take a walk, you do some push-ups, you do some squats, maybe you go take a cold shower, and you just chill out. You don't beat yourself up. You don't sit there. You don't stare at the charts. You don't add additional risk. You don't try to win it back immediately. You walk away. You walk away. It is not your moment. You are not in the mindset. You are not in the mood to be putting on an extra trade. You're likely just going to lose more money. Get up, walk away, come back when you're calm, cool, stable, and collected, and make a rational decision based on that. It's not going to be the last movement. Everybody thinks, most people when they take a loss, most people tend to think that I went long and price just tanked, so I should probably go short or I should buy the dip. Your best bet is to not do a damn thing. You already made one big loss and you're already probably perturbed, right? So you're already not in your mindset. You're also probably not in your best trading environment, right? You should have a time to trade and edge to trade, a certain signal to trade, right? So get up, walk away, come back later. There's always going to be big movements in the market, man. Cryptocurrency is the most volatile asset. That's not going away anytime, whether we run up to 100K soon or whether we dip back down to 8,200, right? And chill out there for a while, maybe even go down to 5,000, right? If Peter Brandt's right about his big correction. Doesn't matter. There's always going to be opportunities in the market. Cryptocurrency is still in its native infancy. We have a long ways to go, man. This market will always be around. Forex was popping like this for 10, 20, 15, 20 years, right? We're at year maybe 5 for like, not even, maybe year 3 for like serious crypto trading, all right? Got a long road ahead of us, so just chill out. There'll be other movements in the market. You don't need to win it back right now. It's okay for you to put a loss on your belt and let that loss hang there for like a week or two before you really start actively trying to earn it back. Stay in the game, and you come out on the top in the end if you just keep doing the right things. B-Flow says, I was already on a walk with the kids when that dagger fell, so what do I do then, man? All right, you look at your kids, you look them directly in the eyes, and you tell them, buy Bitcoin. All right? Now, all right. The best way to hedge is to short ZERP, Litecoin, EOS on BitMEX. Yeah, they've been absolutely moving to the downside lately, man. Walton Chain holding gains. XR boom comes. Good luck, everybody. Just another day in wash trade land that we call cryptos. Hey, Justin. Just adjusting. Just bought PPT BTC on the hourly. Can you take a quick look at the chart, see if you would concur with that decision, man? Let's go. Let's hop over there. You said that's a pretty quick decision, so let's take a gander. PPT BTC. Let's look at Populous on the hourly. Looking for a PTP setup. What do we got? I like it. Yeah, that's a good setup. Let's go look at a higher time frame. Careful though. If you zoom up, 4 hour, we're coming up toward rejection zone from the daily baseline. Daily's putting in a nice pullback hammer. 12 hours kind of chop. I mean, it's a good 1 hour setup, but I always like, when I'm doing meso timeframes, I like to go off the highest signal possible. For me, I don't really like trading on the 1 hour. I like trading on the 4 hour. I think the 4 hour works really, really nicely. But obviously your position, if you're going to go down to lower timeframes, you're going to get more signals. Do something about your risk. Maybe put on half position, right? Put on half position, I think is a pretty good rule of thumb. But yeah, it seems like a valid signal, man. Even CCI is confirming that trade to the upside too. So we're looking for a pop-up here to about 65, 66. Let's take a look at volatility, see if we need to adjust our ATR. This is PPT BTC, so ATR is about 256 sats. What was it on this candle? 267. Yeah, that doesn't seem like an outlier, so good to go. Okay, getting back over into Ethereum. Again, we talked about closing below on the 12 and looking over at the 4. Now, looking over at the 4, this is indicative to me. Let's bring up our tertiary. I mean, we just massive sell movement on Ethereum, right? Big sell movement on Ethereum. Now, again, we know that Ethereum can be more volatile. I actually took ETH Bitcoin short last night because I had the feeling you take ETH Bitcoin short if you think that Bitcoin is going to BTC USD is going to outperform Ethereum USD. All right. So ETH Bitcoin is always a good hedge short or a hedge long if you feel that Ethereum is going to outperform BTC USD, right? That's how ETH Bitcoin moves, right? And again, we can see Bitcoin absolutely outpacing and outperforming ETH Bitcoin. So that was a fantastic trade that we put on last night. That's doing really good, man. Damn, my volume oscillators are completely off in trading view. WTH, man. Don't buy the dip, buy the stock market. You know, I'm not going to lie, right? One thing that we're going to start talking about more is how to build up. All right. Okay. So let's talk about this, right? You know, I started on this journey 10 years ago to be financially independent and free. I have a diversified portfolio. I put money away every month. Every month I put into savings. I put into long-term investments, right? Now, I've been on that journey for a while. The journey, if you think about investing correctly, if you think about what to do for the long term correctly. Now, I trade. That is my form of active income. It is an active income that allows me to do well. It is an active income that allows me to work from home, that allows me to come and go as I please, that allows me to do what I love, which is trading, helping others, mentoring others, coming up with new strategies, working in Pine, working in the Discord with all our members, and just creating new content and mostly strategies, trading psychology, trading discipline. It really helps me, I think, help people. And I love to do that. And also, I make a good return on my investment. So that's my active form of income. But I save a lot of my money and apply it to investments every single month. And that is the way to build wealth, right? There's lots of different routes to do this. A lot of people are going to be investing in cryptocurrency and precious metals, which I highly recommend, which is what I do. A lot of people are going to be into investing into the stock market, dividend investing. There's all kinds of fantastic ways out there to build forms of passive income. People are going to invest in real estate. People are going to invest, whether that is the form of renting, whether that's the form of flipping houses, all fantastic ways to earn active / more passive forms of income. That is the goal, right? You know, we have to think about what wealth means. Wealth does not necessarily mean having a whole lot of money, right? So there have been times in my life, right, especially over the last 10 years, where I've been more or less wealthy than other people, right? And the reality is, let's say you're in a job right now and you're making $30,000 a year. So you're doing okay. You're doing well for yourself, but you're not doing fantastic. And you are looking up to these guys who are making $100,000 or $120,000 a year, right? They're driving a nicer car. They've got they've got a better looking wife, better looking husband. They've got they've got the latest iPhone. They're going on vacations. That is conspicuous consumption, right? The majority of Americans. So what is it? It's so 2/3 of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, right? 2/3. Imagine that. 2/3 of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and what is it? 1 in 10, or well, 1 in 10 and 1 in 5 have absolutely no money saved up whatsoever, right? So in the same frame, that's one thing, and then the fact that you're looking at people who are making six figures. The only reason they're making six figures is because of their job. This is true with the large majority of individuals in the world. Individuals who are earning a high income, if they lose their job or quit their job, they go broke just as fast, and their lower income quality or status of life is the same as anybody else that wasn't making that much money. It's just their income. So they're still in that rat race of working 9 to 5, of working for somebody else, of not being financially independent. You know, they're still in that cage. Their cage is a little bit more gilded than yours. What is wealth? What is freedom? Wealth is freedom. Wealth is the ability to not answer to anybody else and be financially stable and independent. So you can build a plan, you can build a system that makes you financially independent. If you kind of get your mind off of those big numbers, what can you do in 10, 15 years to earn enough passive income from your investments or from your other investments, whether they're real estate, whether they're intellectual property, whether maybe you make music that you're always getting rights from. Maybe you make, again, investments is what I've decided to do, and then earn passive income from that so that you never have to work a day in your life, and then you can do what you want to do, right? It's absolutely possible. 10 years with the right plan, 10, 15 years with the right plan, you have enough passive income to pay for your mortgage, to pay for your car, to pay for your expenses, your food, every single month. You never have to work. That's wealth, man. That is wealth. Freedom. Midwest Attempt says, what would my trailing take profit be with that PPT? Let's go look. What would it be? 4%. Actually, sorry. Yeah, 4%. Go, baby, go. All right, so anyways, for Ethereum, big move into the downside. We are at a level of support. I think that it's more likely that this level of support breaks, right? Everything flashed up to take a good short trade here on the 4-hour chart on Coinbase, right? We have price closing below. We have here we go. We actually closed below the zero line on Minx here, and then a huge dump here, breaking through our primary baseline and our secondary baseline, also our tertiary baseline. We have CCI dropping below zero. We have Wadatar throwing up a big red candle and a rising explosion level on this current close. I took Ethereum to the downside. Hell yeah, I did. So what's worst case scenario, right? I'm already long on Bitcoin. So if the Ethereum USD trade becomes a wash, then I profit off of Bitcoin. And since that is a trade on BitMEX, that wealth is valued in BTC. So I most likely lose nothing in USD value or actually make some if the trade's a wash. Looking at different ways to take structures, as I talked about yesterday, and I think something that we don't talk about enough, right? So for example, if you go look at the results of the trading group first week of July, it's rough. Okay? From a pure, here the trades that we put on, first week of July was a bloodbath. Now that's the first bloodbath week we've had in months and months and months and months and months. So it's just a natural give and take, ebb and flow of the market. As a trader, you have to be prepared, emotionally disciplined for when things don't go your way. But almost all of those were alt to Bitcoin pairings, right? And most alt to Bitcoin pairings, they would give a trending signal and pff, right? Just, it happens sometimes. Fuck, man. Now, here's the thing. Because we're taking those trades against Bitcoin and Bitcoin was appreciating from a dollar perspective, almost all of those trades were washes, right? A good trading journal will reveal this for you, right? So sats were lost. Lots of sats were lost. In terms of dollar value, mostly break even. In a time when a lot of people were trying to short Bitcoin, trying to long Bitcoin, long it at the right price, selling at the bottom, puking their position, committing suicide on this move into the downside, you have to keep a trading journal and you have to write down what was the price of Bitcoin when you bought the altcoin, what was the price of Bitcoin when you sold the altcoin, and factor that into your calculation and see what your actual USD P&L was. That's what matters. That's what matters. So for me to pretty much break even for the first week of July, not gonna lie, lost a little bit of money. It is what it is. Really, really good. If you're breaking even as a trader, you're doing better than the majority of traders because the majority of traders are losing money consistently. They don't keep a journal. They're not aware of how much money they're losing. They just kind of lose. They have a big win or like a small win, then they have big losses, and they're like, oh my God, I hate my life, like kill me. And then they top up their accounts or they get lucky or just whatever, right? All right, now BTC on the 4-hour is dropping down below that that tertiary baseline that we pointed out. Again, this is what I was talking about. If we end up making this close below this tertiary baseline, I would not be against you guys putting on that head short, or again, this is your own decision. You're gonna have to make your own trading decision. But putting on that short to the downside, targeting either that daily baseline or that 4-hour secondary baseline around that 11,770 area, right? It'd be a good momentum short. But again, we got to wait for the close. There's 2 hours and 15 minutes for that close. So with that being said, let's go over and look at Litecoin. Let's look at the Litecoin Bitcoin pairing. Obviously, the Litecoin Bitcoin pairing this is the 60-minute chart, so let's go look at the daily for the love of God. Now, overall, again, all our BTC pairings, fantastic hedge shorts, right? If you want to take BTC to the upside, you want to put on shorts on the futures contracts for that was a great comment. LTC, EOS, ADA, all of them, they suck. They moved down, right? In fact, that's exactly what I did, right? I put on, actually, I did it the other way around, right? I put on for example, like if you're gonna, that's actually directly correlated. So if you want to put on I said that wrong. Let me rephrase that. If you want to put on a long on Bitcoin and you're unsure, put on a long on an alt BTC pair, right? Trades wash out, right? BTC USD moves down, alt BTC moves up, BTC USD moves up, alt BTC moves down. If Bitcoin to the dollar is outperforming the alt to the dollar, then the alt to Bitcoin pairing moves down. That's how it works, right? That's how it works, okay? Since Bitcoin is holding okay and outperforming all alts because alts are just a bloodbath, go look at their USD charts. Again, taking LTC to the down. Now we took EOS U19 to the downside, and that's great trade, man. So let's look at LTC BTC on the daily. Again, we're coming off of a continuation short signal over here on the 8th of July. So that was a re-entry signal. That was a re-short this asset signal. And we would already hit a take profit one down. I mean, down 20%, 20% trade by just doing what you're supposed to and listening to the system. Let's see here. Below the primary baseline, Wadatar is bearish. In fact, we have rising momentum on this move to the downside, rising volume. RVGI is under, CCI is below zero. This looks absolutely bearish to me. Let's go down to some lower time frames. 12-hour, we're getting a little bit of a buyback right here on the 12-hour. And again, one thing that I did want to point out too on the daily is that if we look, where does volume come into a trend at the beginning and the end? So let's see if we see some consolidation. This could be a time, again, profiting off this big move. We've got this big move to the downside. Doesn't really seem insane for me for price to make a movement back to the upside, maybe tag off the primary baseline. And then we're going to know from there whether we're actually going to establish a trend. Often you don't just V bottom up. At least those V bottom trades aren't our trades. We're not reversal traders. So that if V bottoms up, you consolidate for a while, and then you have a breakout with volume, and then that's a trend. Then you take the trade to the upside, right? That's how it works. So pretty much not looking to do anything on Litecoin right now except for reshort it if it comes back up and then starts dropping back down, shows signs of weakness. Looking at LTC USDT. LTC USDT, again, we talked about this symmetrical consolidation at the secondary baseline, in between the secondary baseline and the primary baseline. As I said, coming off a big movement to the downside, when you have that symmetrical consolidation, that's often a bearish pattern. Price breaks to the downside. We've talked about the unreliability of patterns before, but in that sense, again, the exact same thing, talking about the fact that we closed below the baseline. Wadatar was bearish. CCI was below zero. Just good example. Minx was below zero. That's our primary signal. No reason to be going long on USDT. And then using a little discretion to know that this is more than likely than not to resolve to the downside, which it did do. Now we are closing below the secondary baseline and throwing up a continuation short. So the LTC USD short is not out of the table. We're probably far below the qualifying line, so I would actually wait for a little bit of a pullback if you are so lucky, or this is a trade you missed if you didn't get in yet. All right, let's go look at some Bitcoin fundamentals. BTC Dom. Interesting. For some reason, I still don't understand this live split thing, Scott. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, it just seems all whack-a-noodle to me. Anyways, BTC USD dominance up at 67.9%. Alts, you just don't really want to touch them right now. Alt to Bitcoin pairings are nasty. They're rough. Lower time frames, there's always trades to earn more BTC. But since BTC USD is consolidating, kind of flat, has actually lost value. You're actually not making that lot of money. You take an alt BTC to the upside, and BTC USD is moving down more than it's moving up. You're not actually making money. You're mostly breaking even. There are very specific times to trade alt BTCs overall. But anyways, just buy and sell and get wrecked is my mindset, man. Andrew says, I'd say basic attention token started the alt trend in alt season. It's only a few hours, but it's moving well right now. Well, fingers crossed, man. Okay, yeah, BTC dominance just absolutely blasting up, man. It's rough out there for an alt, man. I mean, we played that song a few days ago talking about I'm gonna buy those coins to the all-time low. Taking a lot of discipline and dedication out there for the alt holders, man. A lot of discipline and dedication. I'd say this is reminiscent of the starting of alt season when BTC really starts to get hammered. We'll see. We'll see if price can actually trend to the upside. Because if we're going to have alt sneezing, then we're going to get those long-term trending signals. Let's go look at longs to shorts. We haven't looked at that in a while. All right, so here's our longs. Longs continuing to rise. Here's all of our longs. We have 29,436 longs. So we actually have more longs being put on the day than previously. If we look at shorts, shorts are on the rise as well, but let's look at where our shorts are. We're fundamentally bullish on price because we're above the daily baseline. We have shorts just barely grazing their way up to the daily baseline, right? To the daily baseline on shorts, i.e. shorts are not trending yet. Shorts are not trending. CCI below zero. Wadatar dying off on momentum. So we'll see. Shorts breaking to the upside and price closing below. That's strong momentum for a long. Looking at longs, as the longs are bullish on their OHLC chart, and because the price is bullish, I'm more inclined to believe the longs. Digi, I know you're working your butt off over there, man. Big shout out to you over there at XSPC, man. Spectre Security Coin. Okay. It is 12:51, and we've got a whole lot to get through. So let's start slicing through. Slicing through our traditional markets. So we're going to go to. Oh, okay. I think I understand how these timestamps work. That's the beginning? Maybe. Every day, maybe we get a little closer to understanding how these darn timestamps work. SP 500 having a beautiful baseline bottom bounce over here on the CFD on a Wanda. Again, we talked about that baseline bottom bounce, looking for that same opportunity, the NQ and the SP and the Dow, and staying off of the Russell, So let's go over to our E-mini futures and see how that prediction played out. Bam. Baseline bottom bounce off of the NQ, throwing up a continuation long signal right now. WADA confirms volume is good. If you still miss the trade, I think it's an okay time to get long on the NQ. Same for the SP. We're not throwing up that continuation long signal yet, but I'd look at the NQ as a leading indicator. I'd say if you wanted to get long in the SP, you still have your chance. Same for the Dow. I think you can actually get a better average entry on the Dow. Going over to the Russell 1000, though, I would stay off the Russell 1000. I'd still stay off the Russell 1000, right? It's the weaker performer. You almost always want to be long the strongest asset in the sector and short the weakest. And of course, we're talking about indexes, so really the comparison still stands, right? Looking at VIX. VIX dropping out of 13.09. Which is kind of boring for intraday trading, so you definitely want to stick to swing trading. GLD, looking at our GLD commods. Now, what's interesting is our GLD commods are throwing up a continuation long signal after a nice gap to the upside. So GLD could really take a move here. Let's go look at the CFD on a Wanda. Getting into our commods, our metals, and our oils. Looking at ZAO USD, again, having a very nice bullish day, man. Having a nice bullish day. Now, we did end up closing below the baseline. We closed below the baseline, so we should wait. But again, here's one of those situations where, especially on indices and on traditional markets, the 21 works very, very well as a baseline. As you can see, the 21 gave you a baseline bottom bounce right here, right? So this would actually have you in a long from right here. And of course, looking at that GLD commods continuation long, I think if you wanted to get long on ZAO, the opportunity is still there. Palladium as well, baseline bottom bounce, popping right to the upside. Beautiful trade. If you missed the continuation, if you missed the baseline reversal bounce, I wouldn't get in Palladium right now. I would hold off and wait for a clear signal. We had a lot of consolidation, so I want to make sure this is not a fake out to the upside. I want to make sure that this actually has some legs behind it. Silver as well. Silver, not going to go long on silver yet. You can see we bounced off the tertiary baseline right here. We still have minks below the zero line. Wadatar is basically keeping us out of silver, not trying to get into any moves. CCI, however, is crossing to the upside. So let's wait for some confirmation, and maybe we can take silver up. Platinum, again, still not doing anything with platinum. Way too much chop. The volatility is crazy. There's no strong trend. Up, down, up, down. You want to stay out of that stuff, which Wadatar does for you. Now, Wadatar is telling you to go ahead and go long here, but we need minks to confirm, so we'll just chill. CCI, we'll say, is printing an upside candle, though. ZAO ZAG, again, being consistent with what I said the other day, you know, since we're bullish on gold and weak on silver, you could use this as a hedge, however you want to use it, but otherwise just stay out. Bentley crude, still bullish on crude, as I talked about the other day. Bullish on crude, looking at taking that long trade yesterday, which was absolutely valid, and waking up to 3.28%. Let's go down to West Texas oil. West Texas oil as well. We talked about taking this long signal over here and confirmed here. Again, very bullish still on crude. Got into the West Texas position over here, made profit, moved out in this range, and then back in the market. Think that you are missing something if you're not taking those CFDs long. Corn, still no clear movement on corn as we talked about. I think we talked about a short trade yesterday, price popping back up. Maybe some more pop and chop on corn again. Probably, I think this signal we wouldn't have taken. This one was a confirmed signal. We'll see basically what price does here. Again, this could be another consolidation. Commodities have been a little mean to us lately. Natural gas, we talked about still waiting for that opportunity to take the long signal. Currently struggling with the 55 still struggling with our secondary baseline resistance right here. Price closed too high above. So again, there wasn't a lot of profit here to take. There wasn't a whole lot of edge spread there for you to take on natural gas. Soybeans, we might be getting a long signal on soybeans coming up. Sugar, no clear signal yet on sugar. I'd be biased to the downside. And wheat, again, as I said, biased to the downside. So that's our major commodities. Hopefully you guys are trading safely. XRP got hit by a bomb. Boom, 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 boom. Magic the Krakening just got liquidated. Bye 5 Bitcoin. It was nice knowing you, man. Yeah, it was a good run, man. It was a really good run. Red alert for all ZERP holders. Suicide watch. Right. So, Ken D, I just scrolled back through the chat, man, and, you know, maybe send me a message in Discord, but I don't see really anything that guy's doing. I mean, I just scrolled back and I only saw 2 messages. One was actually constructive to the conversation we were having, and then I only saw like one. I mean, the dude said... I don't really like that last comment. Randall, keep it cool, man. But other than that, I mean, it's not like it's crazy. Yeah, just try to be respectful of everybody, people. Do I use Keltner channels and why not? No, I think they're more subjective. I think TTM squeeze is a pretty good indication when you're looking at implied volatility. It's just not my edge in the market. My edge is different. I'm a trend following trader. Those trades, I mean, you can use Keltner channels for trend following analysis. I just don't really like the way they back test. It's just not my edge, man. What's my Discord? It's discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Bring you right there, my good friend. What's your YouTube channel website? yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Yeah, I mean, I never want anybody in the chat to feel uncomfortable or feel like they're being attacked. I try to keep, you know, we're pretty about freedom around here, so if things don't get super out of hand, but again, everybody just be respectful to everybody else. We'll all do really well. All right, we're going to be going to break, guys. We're going to be going to break, and when we come back, we're going to look at the Forex markets, and we're going to go over the news of the day. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be some fantastic stuff we're going to talk about. If you guys are looking for a fundamental reason of why things are happening the way that they are, we might have a very good explanation for you. Before we head to break, as traders, selecting the exchange we're going to trade on is going to be extremely important, and as a professional, thank you so much, Martha Martinez. Highly appreciated. As a professional, the question that I'm often asked is, what metrics do I use to evaluate the exchanges that I trade on? And I always say the same thing. Security, ease of use, and customer service. They have to be secure. They have to be easy to use, but also provide me with good features. And they have to have good customer service. If they don't have good customer service, I'm not going to trade on the dang platform, right? Or at least not very much. And the exchange that I use to trade my Bitcoin futures is ByBit. I really like trading on ByBit, guys. I've been trading on there for quite a while. I've moved almost all of my Bitcoin trading off of BitMEX to ByBit. I do the majority of my capital over there. I really enjoy the exchange. I've communicated with their staff. I like all the answers that I've heard. I've had zero problems trading over there. They have customer service on the main page. Everybody that I've heard of that has had a slight issue on there, I tell them to contact customer service and it's fixed. So if you guys want to check out ByBit for yourself, if you're tired of getting wicked out over on BitMEX, if you're tired of those fuck you movements over there on BitMEX for no reason on the 15-minute chart, right, that just kicks you out of your position, doesn't really happen over on ByBit. You guys can check them out for yourself. If you use my link, they'll give you up to $60 to test the platform out for free, and you can make your own decision. That's ByBit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can go try it out at ByBit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and see for yourself whether you like it better than BitMEX. I think that you will. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back from the break. If you have any ideas or chart requests, anything you'd like me to cover, put it in the chat and we'll do our best to cover it when we get back. All right, guys, and we're back from break. Thank you so much for hanging in there, and we're going to get right into the Forex markets. All right, so let's go over to our FX watch list. Start off with the Aussie yen. Okay. Great. Okay, Aussie yen. Gotta get comfortable there for some reason. All right, guys. All about them pumpamentals, man. Yeah, dude. I feel you, man. Okay. Andrew Munns is using the 26 weighted moving average baseline, CC Wada explosion as your secondary confirmation, and CV and RVGI as tertiary confirmation, ATR money management. Nice, man. I like it. That's good. 26 weighted's not too bad for Forex. I've tried a lot of different Hall moving averages, weighted moving averages. I've tried all kinds of baselines. That one actually tests pretty good. GAN high low is your exit. Hope you guys are taking notes. Asking for a friend. What was the question, bro? Thank you so much, Ablash. Highly appreciate it, man. Bring your VPN as well. Crypto Caveman, much respect from Toronto. Much respect here from the Midwest, my good man. Morse Code, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the Discord, brother. Stick around for a while. Okay, so looking at our Aussie yen, again, let's see. We've got a close below the baseline, and we've got price pushing back up. Minx is above the zero line. This could be a good baseline bounce entry. Again, if price closes back above the baseline, might be a good opportunity to go long on the Aussie yen. We'll see how the candle closes today. We'll see how the candle closes today. Looking at the Aussie dollar, man. Aussie dollar. This is a bad one, right? Aussie dollar right here. Got the short signal yesterday, right? Price pulling all the way back up. Big volatile movement back up to the baseline, right? Big volatile movement back up to the baseline. CCI turning against us. RVGI is not crossed to the upside. If this thing closes above the baseline, it'll be a loss. This will be probably the worst trade that I've put on in Forex since, and this is now my third week of doing the Forex. Still up 4% on my total account value, but this did drop me down from 5% as of this morning. So not super happy about it, but again, just one of those trades. So, but this might represent, one would say, this could represent a good re-entry point as well if one were so inclined. Looking at price pushing back up there. Looking at the Canadian Swissy. Canadian Swissy is still not a clear re-entry signal yet, pulling back down to the vicinity of the baseline, potentially setting up a reversal baseline bounce, but didn't quite make it. Looking at the Canadian yen, again, still long in the Canadian yen. Haven't gotten that exit signal yet. Let's actually see here. So that's incorrect. So Canadian yen did cross under an RVGI right here. Let's see, long here, stop here. That trade needs to be closed. And you can see that if I would have waited for candle close, I wouldn't have had to deal with any of this whack-a-noodlery. Let's close out that position. All right, closing out the Canadian yen in profit. Moving right along. Swissy yen, no trade to be taken here. The Euro Aussie, no trade to be taken here. Fake out long, again, no long signal. Good. Euro CAD, no trade to be put on here. Euro Swissy, no trade to be putting on here. Let's look at the Euro Kiwi. No trade to be putting on here. Potentially a re-entry for the short. Euro Pound over on a Wanda. Still long on the Euro Pound. Got that continuation long yesterday. Price moving up. Euro Yen, no trade to be taken. Euro Dollar, again, short on the Euro Dollar from right here. I've taken profits on the way down. Price pushing back up to the secondary baseline. My stop loss is at break even, so we'll see how this resolves. No reason to exit the trade yet. Pound Kiwi was a good baseline short. Price came all the way back up to the baseline. Good opportunity for a short entry right there. Pound Canadian was short on the Pound Canadian here. Ended up taking my profits yesterday when price crossed to the upside. The Pound Swissy is throwing up a continuation short signal. I'd be wary of taking that, or at least half risk, because Wada Atar is green on a short signal. Swissy yen, no trade to be taken. Pound dollar, ended up taking my profits on this one short here. Ended up taking profits along here. Price did pump back down a little bit, but now back up to where I took my profits. So Kiwi dollar, no trade to be taken. Kiwi CAD, no trade to be taken. Went short on the Kiwi CAD. Big movement to the upside. Missed my fucking take profit by like 1 pip, man. Missed my take profit by 1 pip. Still no exit signal yet, so we'll go ahead and hold on to that. Swissy Kiwi went long here. Ended up taking all my profits yesterday when RBGI crossed to the downside, as we can see. Price pushing back up. Would have got a little bit of a better entry, but again, I would have had to deal with. I would have gotten stopped at break even had I let that ride. So I'm happy that I locked in my profits where I did. Kiwi Yen, no trade to be taken. Dollar CAD, no trade to be taken. Definitely biased to the downside. Pound Aussie, again, went short on Pound Aussie. Ended up taking my profits here. Dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy went long here. Took some profits up here. Price is pulling back down to the baseline with my stop loss at break even. Nothing to do right now. No exit signal yet, but getting close, so we'll see how that plays out. Big volatility coming from Forex markets, man, with that Fed meeting this morning. Dollar Yen, Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD ended up, let's see here. Aussie CAD ended up taking some profits on this trade. Stop losses at break even. Nothing to do on the Aussie CAD yet. Let it ride for a while. Aussie Swissy, nothing to do. And the dollar yuan, not a clear signal. A lot of pop and chop on the dollar yuan. I'd stay out of the dollar yuan for right now, guys. All right, so trade on the daily time frame. It's the best I can find. Absolutely, man. Do I still use Netscape or Yahoo or Bing? Nah, man. Nah, I use DuckDuckGo, my good friend. But I get asking for a friend. Tell your friend to upgrade, my brother. Thank you so much, Kendi. I highly appreciate that, man. Stephen Hedrick requesting bomb Ethereum, man. Bomb Ethereum. One of these days, I'll get this time split thing figured out. Keep forgetting to press buttons. Oh, man. And BATUSD from Morse code. All right. I got a lot of requests, man. Hopefully we can. Oh, wait. I think these are from yesterday. Yeah, I think a lot of these are from yesterday. Yeah, I think a lot of those are from yesterday. Okay, so maybe I don't have that many. A big buybacks on Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Let's get over into the news, guys. So, is Bitfinex finished, man? Now, we've talked about Bitfinex a lot on this channel. We've talked about the Tether situation a lot. If you guys haven't seen the truth about Bitfinex and Tether FUD explained by a professional trader, it's one of our more popular videos. I recommend you go check that out for a good look into the background of everything that led up to this. But if you are looking for a news reason for the dip, look no further than this. So the New York Attorney General's office has filed a memorandum of law that Bitfinex and Tether issued USDT as loans to investors and operated as an unregistered securities dealer in New York, even though they are banned from conducting business in the United States. So a brief overview of the situation for those of you who have been living underneath a rock. Again, make sure you go watch that video. It'll really help out. So Bitfinex lost $850 million when their payment processor, Crypto Capital Corporation, who was also a payment processor for the Canadian exchange Quadriga CX, by the way, had their funds seized by law enforcement in Portugal, Poland, and the United States. As a result, Bitfinex borrowed money from the Tether treasury to patch the hole and allow their customers to withdraw fiat. Bitfinex also put on the Leo sale to pay back Tether. That's not even mentioned here, but I think that's something important to point out. Now, Bitfinex claimed up until February that Tether was backed 1-to-1 by United States dollar reserves. However, they are now admitting that it's only 74% backed. So Bitfinex asserted previously that they had paid back the line of credit to Tether from their holdings with Crypto Capital Corporation. You guys will remember they originally said, well, we paid that $850 back immediately. It's just a line of credit, money moving around here. They just moved the $850 million from Crypto Capital Corporation over to Tether's account at Crypto Capital Corporation. However, we know that that was bullshit, as they did not have access to those funds. And for all intents and purposes, those funds are gone. The American government isn't going to give them back. The Polish government isn't going to give them back to Bitfinex. Now, up until this point, many have argued, Bitfinex included, that the New York Attorney General's office has no jurisdiction to prosecute them. However, thanks to Mike Novogratz and other Bitcoin bulls, that might change. Yesterday's filings seem to show that Bitfinex and Tether allowed prominent investors like Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz to trade and redeem Tether until early 2019. And both companies are alleged to have opened several accounts with New York banks. The filings further assert that both companies also used New York-based accounting firms for regular audits of their business deal. One of the exhibits claims that Bitfinex helped wealthy New York investors and traders establish foreign shell entities to trade on Bitfinex, and that Bitfinex loaned Tether to a New York trading firm. Tether that they did not account for with US dollar reserves, because doing so would implicate them in illegal activity, i.e. doing business with New York citizens. So, while we all know that it's totally okay for wealthy investors in Wales to buy Tether in return for US dollars deposited to the Treasury, if the Tether issued to these New York investors was not backed up by USD, which seems weird, right? It seems weird that the Tether would just give USDT away and give it to these investors. More than likely, they took the USD but did not put it into the Tether Treasury, because that would be indicative of them committing a crime. So, for all intents and purposes, them doing this to skirt US regulation would basically mean, for all intents and purposes, that Tether was printed out of thin air. Completely out of thin air, not backed by anything, not backed by a loan, not backed by the 74%, just completely unbacked Tether. If the New York Attorney General's office can prove in court that Bitfinex did this, then they will have jurisdiction. They will have jurisdiction to prosecute them. So I've been very critical of Bitfinex, and although they have their ardent supporters, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And I've been saying that for a long time, right? So let me know what you guys think about this. I know some people, there's going to be ardent supporters of Bitfinex who come out of the weeds and say, we need to wait for more facts. We need to wait for more facts. We need to wait for more facts. I've read the paperwork. Go read the facts for yourselves. It seems pretty clear. Bitfinex is not above board with what they're doing here. I also don't like the fact that they had that ICO, that IEO, the Leo exchange, that Leo token. How valuable is that thing, since essentially that money should have gone to immediately pay back Tether, yet billions were made off the sale of that IEO. Where are those funds going? Anyways, something a little bit more lighthearted. So a physical Bitcoin was sold on eBay a few days ago for nearly $100,000, okay? So on July 1st, a physical Bitcoin was listed on eBay. The item was a Caucasus gold coin containing one entire Bitcoin, featuring intact packaging, making it a mint condition gold coin. Now, the underlying Bitcoin that gives it its value has not yet been redeemed. So for those of you who don't know, the way that these gold coins work is that the private key for one Bitcoin is embedded inside the physical coin on a card protected by a tamper-evident hologram. So because of that, and because this coin is so old, this coin not only stores the value of one Bitcoin, but also the value of every Bitcoin fork to date, including Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Gold, and as a result of holding Bitcoin Cash, therefore Bitcoin Cash SV. So these coins are very, very rare. So this is a collector's must-have, with only a few hundred units left in the world potentially in the same type of mint condition. These were publicly released back in early 2010 as a collectible, that contained real cryptocurrency. The project stopped officially selling these coins in 2013. Since then, these coins have always generated a lot of interest when they come up for sale. Now, crypto projects are no stranger to being sold on eBay. Earlier this year, somebody sold an ICO project for $60,000 on eBay, stating that this is available to anybody that can make use of it. And according to the listing of this item, payment was acceptable in cash or crypto. Now, although eBay has hinted at accepting crypto on their platform, no official statement has been made yet. But I bet you can bet your bottom dollar that with the launch of Libra and with FANG companies coming for banking, you can bet that that crypto coming to eBay is right around the corner. Now, let's talk about Litecoin's halving. So Litecoin's been doing quite well, coming from around a low of $22 in 2018 to a current peak of $140. Now, currently showing little signs of a pullback, can Litecoin continue this trajectory as it did back in 2015? The first halving, so this time around, Litecoin's halving event will occur 20 days earlier than it did the first time. The first halving event took place on August 25th in 2015 at block 840,000 when miners saw the rewards drop by half and thus increasing the scarcity of Litecoin. Now, according to the Litecoin blog, this halving event seems to be playing out differently than it did back in 2015. For one, we have not seen a parabolic rise, but rather a slower uptrend. Relative to Bitcoin, Litecoin has actually lost substantial ground despite remaining steady in its dollar valuation. It would seem that Litecoin's recent market movements are largely tied to Bitcoin, obviously, with a slight uptrend due to the halving event. With a lot of positive technical indications from traditional analysis, some traders are betting that this momentum to the upside will continue. Of course, we just broke down our Litecoin USD analysis, breaking down below the baseline. So it is important to bear in mind that the last Litecoin halving saw a price collapse of about 75% following the halving event. A similar loss, considering current prices, could push the price down to around $35 a Litecoin if it were to happen again. Now, although the market is now more mature than it was in 2015, a significant downtrend is still likely following the halving event. Potentially, we're already seeing it coming in now early. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Litecoin will decline substantially before the halving event and complete difference to how it performed the last time? Do you think that Bitcoin's going to make everything draw down? Or do you think that we're going to bust up and potentially keep carrying on after the halving event? Or we're going to bust up before the halving event, have the halving event, and then have a significant pullback like we always have? Let me know what you guys think. But Charlie Lee, as we talked about yesterday, tells crypto investors to be wary. The halving is already priced in. What happened back in 2015 is not what's likely going to happen now. And I'm inclined to agree with him, especially because the technicals are bearish. So, for those of you Americans who like to trade on Poloniex, the United States-based cryptocurrency exchange Poloniex has previously allowed its users to perform margin trading and did not deal with fiat currencies. However, in a recent development, the Delaware-based cryptocurrency exchange platform has revealed enabling fiat to crypto trading on its platform. In doing so, users on its platform will be able to transfer funds directly from their bank accounts and use their debit or credit cards to purchase Bitcoin, taking a page from Binance insofar as purchasing that with your credit cards. So the official announcement does read, Poloniex customers can now fuel their crypto trading by depositing and withdrawing funds using cards and bank accounts. So Poloniex has enabled direct deposits of funds from the customer's bank accounts in over 80 countries. The official post further stated that customers will be able to withdraw USDC directly from their bank accounts. Let's see here. Now, previously, you could trade margin on Poloniex, if anybody remembers that. They're like the old days of Poloniex, the Wolf of Poloniex days, right? You guys remember those days back in the Dizzy. Poloniex has allowed margin trading before, but they've never dealt with fiat. So I think Poloniex is a pretty good exchange. I think that they're well capitalized. I think they're well backed. And I think if you're looking for an alternative to trade on, moving off of Binance, Poloniex is not a bad choice. We have selected the exchange that we're going to be moving towards. We've obviously started supporting Coinbase Pro officially. And starting next month, we're also going to be officially supporting Kraken. So we were looking into obviously Bittrex, Wabi Pro, and Poloniex as well. And we might potentially be adding support for them as well. That would probably entail bringing another analyst on the team. So if you think that you are, there's obviously analysts that we're always trying out. If you think that you are a good cryptocurrency trader and you have experience in technical analysis and in mentorship, if you are interested in doing a trial run, we might be looking to potentially add somebody. So get a hold of us in the Discord. We could start you off. We will review your trades. That's generally how the process goes. And we can kind of walk through that, right? But there's always opportunities in cracking cryptocurrency for those who are experienced and good traders. All right. Seeing as I've completely failed on these timestamps, I think I'm just going to close live split. It's completely shit the bed on him, bro. All right. All right, so we're going to get into our user-submitted chart requests and kind of the fun time of the show, right? So we're going to be throwing on some tunes here in just a few minutes, some nice chill beats, as the kids like to say. And before we do that, if you guys are looking for a charting platform, if you guys are looking for a platform to do your charting on, to apply your indicators to do your technical analysis as we do, I would highly recommend that you check out TradingView. I highly recommend you guys head on over to tv.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Give us a follow, like some of our indicators, check them out for yourselves, and test that platform for yourself. It's the charting software that we use. It's the charting platform that we use, and I highly recommend it. I don't think that there's a better one in the industry, and I've become a specialist lately in writing Pine and my own indicators, which I've actually been doing for quite a while, but just continuing to push my skills, which is actually something that we deal with in the course, how to write your own indicators in Pine and how to test them. All right, so getting into yeah, old margin trading on Poloniex was OG back in the day, brother. Yeah, Sean, I mean, I've had my customer service nightmares before. That's why I'm really, really pleased with ByBit, for example. They have the best customer service of any exchange that I've traded on. Customer service is just one of those areas where we're lacking. I will say this, the more regulated exchanges become, the better the customer service tends to get. So if the news from Bitfinex drops the market today, what will happen on July 29th when they have their day in court? Be out of the market, be flat if you want to be safe. You're welcome, Bullseye. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, brother. Let's see here. It's hard. It says, if Tether is really backed by fiat, then is it still a time bomb? It depends. It depends, man. It depends. It depends on the nature of that fiat. Depends on the nature of that fiat. If they've done something illegal and that fiat starts to get seized, then how much is it going to really be backed, right? How about Dogecoin to BSV? Yeah, baby. Sub 1K that day. Joke versus joke. Meme coin versus meme coin. In the battle for victorious sanctity, man. All right, let's check out Stephen Hendricks. Bomb Ethereum. I don't think this is going to be on TradingView, man. Yeah, we're going to have to go over here to Coin Paprika. Bomb F. All right, this is a little baby shitcoin right here. What do we got going on here with this little baby shitcoin? All right, we're on Mercatox. Oh, baby, Mercatox. We're on DDEX and Switchio. Switchio. We've got 24-hour volume of 30 grand. Total market cap of 7 million, huh? Mm-hmm. I'm sure. More like 500,000. What? Wash trading. All right, yeah, so we got a lot of volume coming in on July 10th. Volume dries up. Big peak yesterday, 2 days ago. Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, you could replace Mercatox there with literally any decentralized exchange there, Morse code. I feel you, man. Bomb is an interesting experiment that burns itself out of existence, sort of. I don't really know too much about it. Bomb describes itself as the world's first self-destructing currency. Bomb is a social experiment and financial case study to measure the feasibility of a deflationary currency. The intention is not to be used for daily transactions, but rather as a decentralized asset management tool and long-term hedge against traditional inflationary instruments. Always got to love those coin market cap descriptions, man. Right? Alpine Whip, what's going on, man? You want to check out the bat, man? Bomb is about to explode. All right, let's get back over to Coin Paprika and let's just look at the technicals, man. All right, standard, shitcoin pump and dumperoonie. A lot of consolidation, big movement to the upside, massive pullback, secondary buyback, and we've had some big retail pump and dump scams ran on Bomb F so that everybody that bought it over here can get out. I mean, this is typically what it goes. You get a lot of volume and liquidity pushing price up. You even got a secondary buy on this one. You collapse back down below. And then it becomes a pump and dump scheme. So let's look at our 13 exponential. Let's also add our 21 for fun. I never selling nothing. Sorry, guys, I got that song stuck in my head now. And so on the daily, man, I can't do nothing with it. There's no volume. Let's zoom in on this baby-rooney. Let's get rid of volume oscillator. We got money flow index and we got CCI. CCI is below the zero line. Price is not yet above the baseline. We've used MFI over here for demonstration purposes for a centered oscillator initiator. MFI is above the zero line. CCI giving us a little bit more chop. You know, I tend to deign to CCI. MFI is typically more choppy of an indicator, but it's pretty good when you use it as a centered oscillator. Let's see do I have this sped up? Yeah, let's check that out. If we put it on 14. There we go. You know, these things bother me when I see something like this. I want to see the establishment of a genuine trend. You know, from a technical perspective, it doesn't look absolutely terrible. You had a nice long period of consolidation. You got all the pump and dumpers out. They'll probably wait another month. So if there does happen to be volume that comes into this, it could move somewhere. You know, having the liquidity and volume that it does, it's not anything that I could ever look at trading. But, you know, it's probably not a bad gamble, brother. Let's see how we close today. We don't want to get faked out of a position, but you know, if there was some more volume, you need some volume to break you out of consolidation. You need a nice, good volume spike, man. All this low volume stuff, this is going to be bots and chop territory. You're not going to be doing very well as a trend following trader in an environment like this. You need to see a volume spike. I'd like to see these EMAs start breaking away from each other. I like to see MFI stay above 0. I'd like to see CCI break back, or excuse me, MFI stay above 50. I'd like to see CCI break back above 0 here on this chart, for example. I'd stay away from this one right now. But, you know, you can watch it. Give it a couple days, see if we actually generate a bullish trend, see if we can get something that looks like this. Unlikely, but maybe we can get something that looks like this, but above the baseline, give us a couple days of profit. Did we link the info for the Logitech wireless patch in yesterday's video? I don't see it on the YouTube stream. Go to breakingbitcoin.money and look at yesterday's show notes. The link is in there. It goes live on Hotbit tomorrow. Well, if you think that is going to give you an edge, if you think it getting listed on Hotbit is going to make price push up, likely individuals that knew that have already factored in and they bought down around here. There might be an edge there. I don't know, man. Let's go look at a bat to the dollar for Morse code. All right, let's check out the bat, man. Push up above the baseline here. Rejection from the tertiary. Big rejection from the secondary baseline right there. We have our primary baseline below our secondary baseline, i.e. the long-term trend is bearish. CCI is now breaking back above the 0 line. Minx is not. Wadatar is actually confirming a long signal. So let's watch and see where this thing closes. Maybe we can get a real trend out of this. The volume is not really there to generate the trend. I'm not going to lie. You know, coming out of this long, lazy listing consolidation pattern, there just haven't been very, very many profitable movements. You know, the trades that we're looking to catch are actual genuine trends. You know, we're staying out of this bot. This is bot territory, reversal trader territory. So I want to see some volume come in. If I see some volume come in, it'll actually look okay. Minx is about to cross to the upside. I would say maybe a day or two to get a signal on this. You can jump the gun, but I would be pretty careful, man. I would be pretty careful. Half risk if you jump the gun on this one. Philip Kruger, ZERP to the dollar, man. Big dive down. Okay, let's look at this. Let's talk about this from a PTP perspective, and then let's talk about this from a price action perspective, okay? PTP perspective, this is something that I would look to short, right? XRP has been the weakest asset. It has been the weakest performing asset. We've had this consolidation, again, very similar to Litecoin. We saw this big push to the downside. More than likely, from a trending perspective, this is initiation of a bearish trend. This would actually not bode amazingly well for things like Bitcoin, for example, because all dollar values are kind of tend to be linked. So if USD value is flowing out of the major alts, then it's likely also going to flow out of BTC as well. But I digress. So yeah, this does not look like a good opportunity. I don't buy low and sell high. I buy when price is about to trend. I kind of slip in. I act like a ninja so that market movers don't see me, and that's how I make my profit. That's how I make my edge. You don't want to trade in hotbeds, hot zones where reversal traders want to trade, because that is areas where whales are likely to continue to push price down or continue to push it up, regardless about what they want. Oh God, ZERP. What do I mean by half risk, half the normal amount one would use in their risk to reward calculation? Whatever position size that you would normally put on, cut that in half, yes. No volume on Tether today, so a nice dump. Also, no Tether printing today, so that equals a nice dump also. XRP will make you millions. Go all in 50x. Yeah, man. That's smart trading. That's what we do, man. Best of luck to you, man. Let's see here. Just one moment, guys. Bajing. Okay. Cool with it. Just making an adjustment over here. Cool, pretty happy with that. All systems look bueno. Okay, what are we talking about? Talking about ZERP. Is Bitcoin about to... Oh, music. Of course, man. Music to your ears, brother. How's that? Is Bitcoin going to break the 12K support? Claysioff says. We're holding that tertiary baseline, man. We're holding tertiary baseline at 12,245. We end up closing below the 21 expo on the 4 hour, as I talked about earlier. I can see definitely putting on that hedge short down to 11,700. And then looking at that daily secondary baseline for the pop back up. Damn, no bounce? Not seeing it yet, man. I mean, the buyback has to be strong, man. Since we already have Justin Sun, I shall be Justin Moon. How about just in case, man? Just in case. They used to call me that in elementary school. That was the, oh, just in case. It's not insulting. You're stupid. You know what I mean? Listening to some Metallica over there, Andrew. I feel you, man. Okay, listen, guys. Now, let's look at this from a reversal perspective. XRP USD, obviously we've got these lows coming in right here. We've got these lows coming in here. So if you were trying to buy, you know, bargain basement cheap ZERP, let's go to the 4 hours. There a 4 hour order block somewhere around these parts? Yeah, there is. I'd say the 4 hour order block trade already failed. You've got this bullish order block right here. The price has already closed below, so most likely you would have taken the L on that position. Let's go back over here. Where's price hanging out right now? Hanging out in these supports. Let's see if it wicked down. Here's one. Let's see if this is where the wick was caught. Nope. Yep. So that old bullish breaker is where price did end up pulling back to. So you would have gotten a fantastic buy so far on current price action if you would have been targeting that old bullish breaker. But let's look at this. We've got our current bullish order block, right? Current bullish order block that we're targeting, or our low zone. Price wicked all the way down below, pops back up. If it rejects from this area, I think that would be a good short. I think that would be a good short. Doesn't look good to me, man. But again, you know, a lot of people in crypto are trained to buy on really big red candles to the downside. Sometimes it works out, most times it doesn't. Regarding USDT, should we be worried if we are in a USDT holding? I mean, I would be diversified, man. You know, like the way that good investment works is that, you know, let's say that all my crypto holdings get blown away. Well, my in total investment portfolio would take a ding, but I'd still be able to continue right on going. I've got precious metals, I've got foreign currencies, I own stocks, I've got real estate, I'm invested in some franchises. It's all about being diversified. And again, I've got quite a bit of capital in cryptocurrency. My trading capital for cryptocurrency is quite large, but my trading capital is not exposed to a massive amount of risk, right? My trading capital can quickly go flat in USD value, and if worst case scenario ever happens, I can cash it out, move on with my life, right? Now, I don't think that's the case. I also have long-term cryptocurrency investments, but let's just say that, you know, crypto just blew the fuck up. So same with Tether, man. I'd definitely be diversified around. I mean, there's other stable coins, like, you know, if you got a whole bunch sitting in Tether, that's not a good idea. Have a little bit in Tether, have some in USDC, maybe get some DAI, maybe get some actual USD, get on an exchange. That might be difficult for you. There's other stable coins, man. So those stable coins. I would diversify that risk around, especially if you plan on sitting in Tether for quite a while. But I don't think there's anything wrong with holding Tether right now, okay? Alpine Whip, we just did BAT USD, by the way, for Morse code. Yeah, you know, the other thing I don't like about XRP is that we're now going to have our baseline cross under. You guys know that when that happens, that means the long-term trend is shifted bullish and or bearish, excuse me. And of course, there's some good volume to generate that trend here. So maybe a little bit of a baby bitch pullback and then a good opportunity to be getting short on XRP for the long term. Snowflake Melter says, I had a lucid dream last night and I asked a dream character if I should go long Bitcoin. He said, wait until Friday. I feel you, Mario. I feel you, man. Do I mediate? How long and when? I mean, I do. I do lifestyle coaching, you know. The government student loan forgiveness plan sees Tether. Zilliqua BTC from Spotify. Yeah, man. Let's check out BTMX USD first. Let's go over to Paprika. The BitMEX token. Let's see here. BitMEX generated a pretty good trade over here on the 8th. Had a nice good run up. I'm sure hit a take profit there. We have another good signal right here. BitMEX gives a good trade here. You get a good trade here. Obviously the best one coming in back here. I don't know, man. I mean, this thing is, I mean, you can forget these movements. Lower high, 3 lower highs after a period of consolidation. I mean, typically, you know, you break out a consolidation and you test the EMA to see if it's a fake out, because your risk is much low if you do the baseline bounce trade coming out of consolidation and looking at a breakout. And that's kind of your protection to make sure that it's not a false breakout. Of course, you know, you would have bought this, potentially. If you bought this, you had a good trade. Getting stopped out at break even here pretty soon, most likely. And you can re-enter at the baseline. And that's like your gut check to see if it's bullish, because if we close below the baseline, you don't really lose that much money. That's one of the nice things about putting trades on around those baselines. It's because they are respected as support and resistance levels. Oh, I think he meant meditate. I do. Yes, I do. Not as much as I used to. I do more walking meditation now, so I do my morning routine. I do my morning routine every day, where I just get prepped for everything that's going to happen throughout the day, make sure that I'm emotionally disciplined. And that's why when I came in and I sat down, and the first thing I saw was objectively some big losses on BitMEX, and then I looked over at my other exchanges, I saw that the trades that I put on the hedge did pretty well, so overall I was down pretty sizable amount, but not too crazy compared to my account or anything like that. Nothing that's not more than just like one regular loss. Just flows off my back like water off a duck, man. Just another day in the market. And it's important, I mean, to get mentally and psychologically prepped when you sit down to work, you know. This is stressful stuff, man. That's exactly everything that I've done in my life, is to develop a system that allows me to trade stress-free and to trade with confidence. Tone was wrong about 150, 7,500, 5,000, 6,000, and now. I kind of think that's his point, you know what I mean? Like, he's all like, yeah, man, like, going to the moon. And so that's like a leading indicator, you know, when CNBC flips bullish, then short, you know. BitMEX, man, I mean, I don't really want anything to do with this. I don't trade stuff like this, so it's difficult for me to give really good, you know, opinions. I only trade on things that are really liquid, that are on good exchanges. I know some people really like BitMEX, but I'll tell you this, right? I gave this advice to people in the group, right? So a lot of people have been interested in this new exchange called Prime XBT, right? Now, Prime XBT has sent me, I'll show you guys sometime if you want, has sent me probably 20 emails asking me to be an exchange affiliate, to promote their exchange, to maybe review their exchange, which I get those emails every single day from various and sundry people. Some good, some bad. Mostly I just, as you guys can tell, we don't really do that stuff around here, right? You know, I did some reviews of their exchange, and I mean, it was one broker all over again, right? It's one broker all over again, right? You know, they're catering to American exchanges. They are not regulated. They are allowing you to do things with cryptocurrency that you should not legally be able to do in a United States exchange that is pandering to American traders. Same thing with one broker. And I had a member reach out to me, and we were talking about Prime XBT, and I told him to be careful, right? And he's like, you know what? I'm going to move my funds off of the exchange. I'm like, all right, I'm not telling you to do that, but I think that's a good idea. And the very next day, huge problem at Prime XBT. People's accounts are getting logged into, funds are disappearing, moving all over the place. You just got to be really, really careful, man. Like, you know, you gotta really determine, I'm a long-term trader. I'm a long-term investor, man. You know, the stuff that I put my money into for investment wise, I plan to put my money into for decades. And you really got to determine if the juice is worth the squeeze, man. I mean, this is a long-term game. Everybody thinks that crypto is a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not, man. Cryptocurrency trading is a way that you can live a lifestyle of financial independence and not rely on anybody else. You don't have to work a 9 to 5 if you're okay with trading. Fuck, you can start off with $5,000 and do pretty good in this space, right? Just being honest, man. The returns are pretty good if you know what you're doing. But you need to be establishing a longer term plan as well with your investments, right? Get a Ledger Nano S, start throwing some crypto on there. Get a Robinhood account, start buying some stocks. Do that with your profits. And you have to determine whether the juice is worth the squeeze long term, right? Are you going to be able, so ask yourself, is this a hustle that I'm going to be able to do for 5 years, right? Or 1 year? If it's not, if this is a short-term, quick opportunity, it's probably not worth it, man. Put your time and energy into something more long-term and sustainable that will able to yield and generate consistent returns that you can rely on, right? Spotabee, Zilliqua BTC real quickly, and then I'll answer Ron's question. And I think we're going to peace out for the day, guys. Zilliqua BTC. Now, I will say this. I like Zilliqua. I like their project. I think they are good from a fundamental perspective, and Zilliqua is in my portfolio, okay? But all-time lows. All-time lows. Big volume coming in here at the end. Could mean a whole lot of different things. Zilliqua is one of those coins for the long-term investment portfolio. Small portion. Again, dollar cost average. That's how investment works. But from a trading perspective, we are below the zero line. We are below the baseline. We are below the zero line on CCI. We are printing, you know, Wadatar explosion is kind of telling us the consolidation is taking place, which price action obviously tells us, but Wadatar is keeping us out of any short trades. There was a continuation short yesterday. You could have taken that trade to the downside, of course, you know, just from a fundamental perspective, but you can't actually do that because you can't short Zilliqua BTC to the best of my knowledge. Maybe it's on Bitfinex. I don't know. I don't trade on Bitfinex. You know, give this some room, man. If we get some volume coming in, we can actually get a couple breakbacks above the baseline here. Zilliqua might be able to run, man. But again, you know, it all depends on BTC USD, man. BTC USD keeps climbing up. We're not going to see alt season. Young Johnny 3 fam, what's good, my brother? Sorry to be repetitive, but have I done any V4 Pine strategy coding? Not yet. I've looked at it, I've touched it, I've smelled it, I've tasted it. You know, I've kind of shook my head at it and wondered if I really like it. And it's just going to be one of those things. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it just seems like, you know, 3 months ago, I just got really proficient in writing more advanced functions in V3. And now I've got to learn V4. So I'm going to stick to V3 for right now. All the tutorials are going to be in V3. And once I've worked through V4 a little bit more and understand a little bit more, it just takes time, man, to get competent with it. Then I'll start teaching that. So let's finish off by taking one last final look at the Kang BTC. Okay, again, I think the daily looks good. I think this movement to the downside is not overly impressive. We're holding this level quite well. Let's see how strong the buyback is. Again, kind of the time frame to watch is the 4 hour. I think if we close below that 21 here in about an hour, I think I could understand seeing a short hedge down to that $11,700 area. Again, on the daily, where's the buyback zone going to be? It's going to be down at 11,574, okay? So make sure you guys trade safely. Make sure that you guys have a strategy. Make sure that you guys are remaining emotionally disciplined. If you made a whole lot of money today, congratulations. And if you lost money today, breathe, take a walk. It's going to be fine. We're all in this together. And it all washes out in the end if you keep doing the right things. Continue to trade safely and stay at the table, and good things will happen. Right? You don't have to win it back right now. We can win it back slowly, the right way. Try to win it back right now, and you're likely going to run into problems. Okay? Trade safely, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, I've been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hey, sorry, man. Mike Weston, too. Thank you so much for the Prime subscription, man. 3 months you've been with us, brother. 3 months. Thank you so much, man. You are the one. You are the good one. All right, moving right along. Sorry, I get excited when people subscribe over there on Twitch. Didn't have my things popped open there. Again, make sure that you guys trade safely. If you guys would like to join us in the premium trading group and get access to our proprietary indicators, our strategies, our strategy building course, all of our educational content in video and audio form, if you want a community that trades in a no-nonsense way that cares about your success, you can go to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to get signed up today. Make sure you guys check out the podcast at breakingbitcoin.money. Alberto Vasquez, thanks for joining the community over there on YouTube. If you guys want to catch this podcast at any time, you can use your smart assistant. You can say, hey, G, let's listen to the latest episode of Breaking Bitcoin podcast. It's going to work just fine for you. Try that at your friend's home. It'll be funny. Be talking about your friend. Hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? Hey, G, let's listen to the latest episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Bing, ding, ding, and boom, bomb. So anyways, guys, we highly appreciate that. We are on Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, and many more to come. We highly appreciate it if you go give us a 5-star review over there on iTunes. It does help push us up the rankings and get this information in front of the eyeballs where it needs to be seen the most. That's it for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Trade safely, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.